Hi everybody, I wanted to show the latest update for Jacob and give a little more explanation as to how Jacob is able to perform very complex code edits, unlike many other AI code generation tools. So if you think about a typical way that AI generates code, you start off with a prompt, sends it to the AI and generates code. The problem is this code knows nothing about your code base and it's missing a lot of context. Usually the prompts that come in are very simplistic. It just doesn't have enough detail to be able to do a full-on production level of task completion. So what Jacob does is a little bit different. When you first onboard your repository to Jacob, we generate a very detailed code context all about your code. We then use that context to take your basic issues and requests and turn them into a much more enhanced and detailed version of those issues. We then go off on the back end and start doing some research, asking questions about your code base, reaching out to the internet, and coming up with questions that need to be clarified from the user themselves. And once we've created that research, we then create a very detailed plan using state-of-the-art models such as O1. We then present all of this to the user, allow them to make changes and edits, and when they are ready to go, we're able to use all of this information to create a very detailed code that is much higher quality and much more likely to be exactly what you want, as opposed to many other tools that are just trying to do the quickest, fastest thing. So here's an example of the code context that is created when you first set up Jacob. This is my entire repository here. You can see it's broken down into sections, and we can dive into any of these that we want. For example, let's take a look at some of our database tables. You can see an overview of this in plain English. You can see what imports it has, and you can even click around and see how all of these relate to each other. You can see where these are exported, and then you can actually see the code itself located here. So we have lots of details about this code, and we're able to use this to our advantage to do lots of complex things. Here's my issue writer, and when I create issues, oftentimes it's a very quick description of what needs to be done, but it often will not have enough detail to really be able to hand that off to a developer. So we're using AI to enhance these issues. Let's give an example of an issue where from this codebase visualizer, let's say I have my user table and I wanted to add a specific field to this using a chat function. I want to add a button here that allows us to take this, this code and bring it into our chat. Now currently you can do a search for the user and find that code, but I want to make it a little bit simpler to be able to just automatically click that button and get here. So let's just describe what we want. In the code visualizer part of the code base, when you click on a piece of code, you get a code base details. And at the very bottom of that component, I want to put a button there that says chat. When you click on that chat button, it will take the file and it will redirect you over to the chat part of the dashboard. That chat part will grab that URL of the file from the URL. It will set it as the selected file in that chat. All right, and so here we go. Now what we're going to do is evaluate that. We're going to take a look at this and determine, based on our code base, what information we need. And also, we have a suggested text. So I can look at these. Let's just go ahead and update this issue. And I can go through here and make any edits I need to. We need to edit this. We need to handle a click for the chat. Update this. Let's not add tests. We don't have a test in our front end right now. We don't have any additional information. We don't need to add that feature at the bottom. Okay. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead and create that issue. Now this creates this issue directly in GitHub here. You can view this. This is an issue just like anything else. And then behind the scenes, we're actually going through and we are doing that research step and we are creating a plan. And once all of that is done, we will get an email and we're able to go back to our inbox and review that and take next steps. Okay, so we're back. Jacob has gone off and done a lot of work on the background. First, started off with some research. So we have 5 different questions here that are able to provide more information. And so in this case, we basically need to find out where the code details found. He was able to find this, this file. It's giving some examples of how we do this. Now, this is really useful for the LLM to be able to create code that fits in directly with this code base. Now, this plan is really important. we're using the O1 series to send all of this information in and get a very detailed plan. It's critical that we're able to identify the right file, whether this is a new or an edit, and then some very detailed but clear instructions of what to do. Okay, so this all looks good. This is looks exactly what it's right. Notice it's even encoding it, which is a nice detail there. It's able to know all of my file types. It can pull these out. It knows we're using next. It's using the router hooks. Even has some exit criteria here. Now, if there's anything in here that I'm reading and I find something is missing or it's a little bit off, I can go in here, I can edit this, I can make any changes needed, and then save that back. In this case, looking at all of this, this looks pretty good. So we've done all this work. Let's go ahead and have Jacob start working on this. Now, Jacob's working on the background, and we can keep an eye on the progress of Jacob. We can see what it's doing right now. It's pulling down our code directly from GitHub. It has created this a little bit of an update here, and you can kind of watch on the GitHub issue itself for some updates. You can come in here and you can see any prompts that are sent and exactly how much those cost. We have links directly to the issue here, and so now we have a little bit more information here. Looks like we made a change. We made a commit. We pushed this up. Let's take a look at some of the prompts. So you can see the details of what goes into this and why all that work upstream is really necessary in order to generate high quality code. All right, so we have some code that Jacob was able to create. And what we actually care about, let's look at the diff here to see what's changed. We're pulling in an icon using our icon set. We're pulling in the next navigation. We're handling when a click comes in, pushing it to the right spot. And then here's the section where we actually add in our button and a little bit of text there to chat about the file. Got a nice icon, everything. And notice that we're doing things like having dark mode. These are the right colors that map to our code base. Custom colors, all of this is done. Looks nice. And then for the chat itself, again, using the next navigation to pull in these search params, nothing custom. We're pulling this in. And then here we have a use effect so that once we get new search params, we're able to get that file path, we're able to set it, and then we're able to refetch any of the content for that in order to show it. So this is exactly what needed to be done for this PR. Fairly complex PR across a couple of different files, and you can see how Jacob was able to complete this in a pretty straightforward way.